Donovan Mitchell has been a major talking point on this show for going on, I don't know what, 3 years now. And the constant question becomes, what is Donovan Mitchell's ceiling? And we've all heard about the drama, the consternation supposedly that exists that we've been able to confirm from three different sources between Donovan and Rudy. And all of a sudden, Don gets a concussion. Rudy injures this calf. Don comes back, and it's a totally different dynamic, and it's Donovan Mitchell's team. And it's very interesting to me that Don is a guy who's really taken over, and you've seen his game grow since he came back from the concussion. And a lot of people wonder, well, what changed with Donovan Mitchell to see him drive forward and really carry this team? And I'm telling you, it's his ability to share the basketball. We know that ability's always been there, Jake, but very clearly, since the concussion, it's been an emphasis for Don.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Don, I think, clearly understands that, in order for his team to be successful, he's going to have to draw the defense and then share the ball off of that, and I think that a lot of great players go through this process, LeBron went through this process. You can name a whole bunch of guys, but I think, what inevitably ends up happening is, your best player goes from wanting to score 40 a night to understanding, okay, to win the game, I need to manipulate the defense to get, Bogey an open look in the corner or whoever it is on the weak side of the floor. So, yeah, I think Don and his willingness to pass the ball coming back from the injury is great. I mean, clearly, and I'm not even joking, he clearly watched a bunch of tape. He clearly, understood, okay, these game situations I need to start taking advantage of. There's opportunity here. And he's doing that. Now the question's going to be, will his teammates knock down those shots? Because that ultimately is what's going to decide if they win or lose games. I firmly believe that. I think that their defense, because of the lack of athleticism on the roster, your defense isn't going to get much better. Rudy can only do so much. Your perimeter defense isn't going to get much better. But when I look at the offensive end, I do think there is still opportunity for them to create higher percentage looks. And everyone goes right to, well, they're like the number one offense in the league. And that might be true. But the number one offense in the league stat doesn't really do much for you in the postseason when you're playing half-court basketball, And so my point just is if Don can figure out how to share the ball and how to create for his teammates in addition to what he's already doing just straight up scoring, they're going to be a lot better of a team. They're going to be much harder to deal with. And that's why I think you see them going on the road and beating the Suns or beating the Mavericks or, just going through some of these tougher games they've had, they've been able to withstand and they've been able to overcome so far. We'll see how that pans out, but I just hope that Don stays consistent with that.
Yeah, and I think consistent is the exact right word because I think this team is going to go as far as Don's going to take them. And I think whether you embrace that or not, whether you like that or not, and listen, I understand that there's a lot of people that want to pick sides between Rudy and Don. I think that's a dangerous game to play. I personally would tell you right now, the way this roster is constructed, they both have to be superstar caliber players, and not only in thought but also on the court.
Yeah.
They have to produce at a very high level for this team to win. And what I'm telling you is Don's ceiling, I don't think he's halfway to his ability yet. I think when you talk about Donovan Mitchell winning the NBA MVP award, I don't think there's any doubt that his next growth spurt has to be significant for that to happen because Don is a young player, but he's not young anymore. Does that make sense? Like he's no longer a rookie. He's no longer a third-year guy. He's the centerpiece of a franchise that is counting on him to take this team to a championship. And granted, there's a lot of work to do. They have to remake the roster around him. I totally get that. But Donovan Mitchell has to now become a dominant mid-range player. That's the next step. His handle's fine. He's got a very good crossover that we've seen. He uses that crossover to his three-point shot off the dribble right now is lights out. Yeah. I mean, he is absolutely using that handle to get him some space to shoot a three. His three-point shot, I think that's very clearly been his biggest step forward this year has been his ability to consistently make the three ball and the range extension that we've seen. Absolutely, Don has grown in that area. He has not, however, grown as a mid-range player. And he has got to find that next step because what you're seeing in Ja Morant, what you're seeing in Joel Embiid, what you're seeing in DeMar DeRozan, Devin Booker now, who is top 5 arguably in NBA MVP voting right now.
Mm-hmm.
All those guys are dominant mid-range players. So you look at Giannis. Giannis is maybe the best comparison because their skill sets, while Donovan is a much more polished shooter, look how far Giannis has come in the mid-range. His ability to shoot that mid-range jumper from the baseline, the elbow, the free throw line extended, top of the key, you name it, anywhere inside the arc, Giannis Antetokounmpo is now a knockdown shooter.
Yep.
That's where Donovan Mitchell's next step is. Because as soon as you do that, you can play Don and everybody else. One of the issues is that when we see Don and everybody else for the Jazz, it's a three-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge problem for this team. And now what have we seen a little bit? And we've seen Don kind of take the next step into, okay, well, I'm not going to shoot a three. I'm going to drive and I'm going to kick to get one of my teammates an open three.
Yeah.
Big step. Now Don's got to be able to find those spots that you talked about yesterday, like with Chris Paul and Devin Booker, where that's going down no matter what.
Yeah.
Giannis on the low block now, turnaround fadeaway is going down no matter what. You're not defending it. It doesn't matter who you are, how long your arms are. That ball's going in the hole.
Yeah.
And that's where Donovan Mitchell needs to be. If he gets there, and I think one of the other elephants in the room, his defense. His footwork on defense has to improve. And if he does that, I think, Jake, there's no doubt he'll win an NBA MVP or two.
Yeah, I think right now he could compete for one, but I think another thing that we have to talk about is, I mean, obviously the growth in his game is super important. I think that's important for anybody who's anybody in the NBA. You know, any of these guys, any of the mainstay names that we always talk about on the show. I mean, those guys are always working on their game. And yeah, I agree that Don needs to become a more lethal mid-range guy. I mean, he's got, you know, like everybody thinks it's going in when he shoots a jumper from the elbow, but more what I mean is kind of controlling the flow and the pace of the game through the mid-range. You know, not only being able to knock down that shot, but really being able to, again, manipulate the defense. Think of Chris Paul and Devin Booker, what Chris Paul brings to that mid-range to kind of put the defense in awkward situations. You know, you think of what DeMar can do in Chicago. You think about what the Kevin Durants of the world can do in Brooklyn. You know, they put pressure on the defense. They make the defense collapse on them, which opens up space in the perimeter. So I think, to me, that's Don's next step. But I also think this conversation about who's around Don and what the supporting cast is in terms of him winning an MVP is very relevant. It is very important to talk about because if you look around the MVP carousel, if you will, the guys who are trying to win the MVP this year, if you look at Nikola Jokic, you know, his development came when Jamal Murray was still healthy and they still had, you know, Gary Harris and they still had kind of that crew. And then obviously Gary Harris gets traded, Jamal gets hurt, you know, and now all of a sudden it's Jokic and everybody else. The difference is he has size and can get to anywhere on the floor, even spots that Don can't. So he has that advantage. He has that luxury. I look at Ja Morant, and this is the guy I really want to spend time on. Everybody seems to not like the fact that Ja Morant is in the MVP conversation. Is he going to win the MVP? No. Should he win the MVP? No, absolutely not. I think that he hasn't done it all season. I think he's gotten hot at the right time. But Ja Morant. Yeah, but what I am telling you is I think this is Joel's award to lose. I think Joel Embiid has done it all year long. I think he's carried that team, and I think what helps him is he's been doing this before James Harden got there. Now you put James Harden on that team to try to go win a championship. So in my opinion, I think it's Joel, but I think it's so interesting to compare Donovan Mitchell's path to Ja Morant's path. And I think it could be spun negatively, but I'm not trying to do that. I think it's just a good comparison. So you look at Ja, and you say, hey, you're the number 2 overall pick in your respective draft. You've absolutely blown Zion Williamson out of the water in terms of value and what you've brought to the league. And I think Donovan Mitchell could learn a few things from Ja, to be honest with you. I love that Ja pushes the pace. I love that Ja is constantly putting pressure on you. And Ja embraces that role of being the guy on that team 100% of the time. And I think if Don steps into that a little more, it could really help him.
Ja Morant or Donovan Mitchell?
Ja Morant. I'll take him all day.
I don't know that it's close.
It's not close.
I don't know that it's close, especially now that, I mean, the knock on Ja has always been that he wasn't a three-point shooter. Well, that's all out the window.
But you see what I mean? That development has happened for him.
But I also think you have to look at the rosters too. I mean, when you look at the young, dynamic talent that is in Memphis, that's what terrifies you about them. Because they're not going to be good for a year. they're going to be good for like 3 to 5 years, depending on who stays healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're deep and they're young. And
Well, they have the right attitude. That's another big thing that I think they have.
What do you mean by attitude?
They are a gritty team. They want to punch you in the face. They don't care who you are. They don't care.
I would agree with that.
Ja wants to posterize Rudy. It's known that he wants to do that, and I'm sure he'll get another opportunity to do that in the postseason or as the season wears on. You know, they're going to play again. But my point is that when your point guy, when your leader of the team, when the face of the franchise is this gritty guy who, you know, came from a small school, who got drafted number 2 overall, who really only cares about winning and idolizes Kobe and like just lives with that mentality. When your number 1 player has that, it's easy for everybody to fall in line because they're like, okay, Ja's doing this. Damn, I better be doing this. I'm Desmond Bane. I better have knockdown 3 ability like tomorrow. I mean, I better have like reliable. I got to step my game up.
I look at the development of those young guys, and I mean, you can look up and down their roster. Desmond Bane, certainly, but I still think it's Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, his ability now to consistently make threes. He's scoring 16 and a half points a game in 27 minutes.
Well, Jazz fans know it all too well. Let's not forget that Jaren Jackson Jr. hit a 3 over you to win a game in regulation. Yeah. Let's not forget about that.
I mean, Desmond Bane at 17. I mean, DeAnthony Melton, granted, he's a guy that's a role player, but to get that kind of performance off your bench, like they have this really nice mix. I think Steven Adams is a really good fit for them.
More toughness.
I think that I just look at like Tyus Jones, like that's what Donovan Mitchell needs.
Yeah.
That's what this roster needs to be converted into. Because with all due respect to the Boyan Bogdanoviches of the world and these other guys, man, it's just not good enough. And you need to be young and dynamic. And that's the thing that I look at with all of the best teams in the NBA. If you look at the Western Conference, there's an interesting mix of teams, right? Like, I don't know, is Luka Doncic young?
He's in the same boat as Don. He's a young player, but he's not young anymore.
He's another guy that needs to take a big step forward. I look at the Golden State Warriors are not young, but what did they do? They built a young team that has been a juggernaut since Clay, Steph, and Dre got together. I look at Phoenix. Devin Booker in the exact same spot as a Don and a Luka. Like, he needs to take another big step forward.
Trae Young.
And Trae Young is forgotten about right now in this league. But it's all about roster construction. And I look at Boston. Boston was left for dead. And look how well they're playing right now.
Yeah.
Because you're getting 3 guys that are putting out on a nightly basis in Boston.
Yeah.
And I think you have a guy in Jay Tatum that is just, I mean, he's a flipping stud.
He's a killer.
He is, absolutely.
But again, development, right? And this is why I keep bringing that word back up, because what's the common thread here amongst all these teams who are good and are hot? Even the Jazz. I mean, I think it applies to the Jazz on some level too. Like, there is development happening. Something changed in a positive direction that's allowing the team to play better basketball. For the Jazz, Donovan Mitchell facilitating and not being as selfish with the basketball is really helping the team score more efficiently. That's their development.
And I think that you're seeing more youth injected. I mean, we had a huge Trent Forrest, I don't know, debate. Is that the right word? On Twitter and YouTube yesterday about Jared Butler versus Trent Forrest.
Yeah.
And we can just keep going back and forth on that. Trent Forrest is a limited offensive player, but he's got tremendous athletic ability. He is a wanting average defender at this point who doesn't shoot the ball well. But what does he do? He can bring the ball up for you. He can get into the paint, and which is something this team sorely lacks.
Yeah.
The ability to get into the paint, finish, or kick. And I just think there's something that we don't see. And I've asked my guy at the Jazz repeatedly, why are we not seeing Jared Butler? What is it?
Yeah.
What is he not doing? And they're looking for him to show consistency. But it's this age-old debate with Jared Butler. Okay, cool. You want Jared Butler to be more consistent. Send him down to the G League. He scores 90 points. You bring him up. He sits on the bench. He plays 3 minutes. He turns it over. he's dead to the world again.
Pack your shit. Let's go.
Right? Like, I mean, how do you develop? How do you get more consistent when you're kicking everybody's ass in the G League? Look at Isaiah Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
Right? Like, kicking ass in the G League, he's on a 10-day contract in the NBA. And he's probably not going to play out that 10-day contract or past it. Like, it's the worst place in the world to be. I view Jared Butler as more than what you would call a 4A player, right? Like, he's not a major league player, but he's too good to play AAA, but not good enough.
Well, I don't think we can use baseball analogies anymore because we don't play baseball in this country.
Yeah,
anymore,
baseball's not a sport right now.
That's
My
not
bad.
a sport. So
My
can
bad.
you use a different analogy, please?
My bad.
Yeah.
Not that it matters because I got a full, credit for next year on my season tickets for the Cubs. Pricks. Anyway, the point is, I'm so upset. I finally got spring training season tickets to the Chicago Cubs. A lifelong Cub fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, blow me. We're not going to play this year. Like, okay. Anyway, the point is, I think that's what this team lacks is a quality, youthful, athletic roster around Donovan Mitchell. And if that changes this offseason, and my guess is it will, you're going to have to go the Memphis route, which is you're going to struggle for a bit. But I think when you have a guy like Donovan Mitchell and you can backstop that with a defender like Rudy Gobert, if Rudy's here, which I think he will be, I mean, you only need 2 or 3. Well, I say only. That's a lot. You only need 2 or 3 other significant pieces who can contribute.
Yeah.
Because you have a guy in Donovan Mitchell, and it's just my opinion, and I understand that I get crushed on this all the time, but I think he's a superstar. I think Donovan Mitchell is one summer away from being at the very, very, very cusp of elite status in the NBA. He's not LeBron. He's not KD. He's not on that level. But I think a year from now, he is the guy right behind those guys. Because I got to believe that you're going to see videos of him all summer long in Brickley's gym working that mid-range. You're going to see him playing pickup, working that mid-range, because that's the next iteration for him.
Yeah.
And if he gets there, you can all tell me that you're just a Don guy. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I'm a Don guy. I think he's a superstar. I think if Donovan Mitchell goes to any franchise, they're better for having him.
Well, yeah.
I didn't say that if he goes to the Knicks, he'll win a championship. That was a huge thing the other day. I'm not saying if Don goes to the Knicks, they win a championship. I'll tell you what, if he goes to the Brooklyn Nets, they win a championship. Right? If he stays with the Jazz, he needs help and a lot of it around him because he just doesn't have anybody he can turn to right now. That's the biggest thing. The other thing is, wait. I'm glad this came up. I need to clarify something on Boyan Bogdanovic. I never said he sucked. I never said that. A local radio show, figure it out. I'm driving to pick up Chipotle yesterday because that shit's all I'm eating right now.
Well,
I talked. I'm driving over to Chipotle, and the guys on the radio are like, "Oh, well, the podcast hacks are saying that Boyan Bogdanovic sucks and he can't be on this team." I never said that Boyan Bogdanovic can't be on this team.
First of all, thanks for listening.
Appreciate
that. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
And if you're like, well, they could be talking about anybody. There's a lot of podcasts. Well, they also went on to say, look, some people, they want to be on the radio. They used to be on the radio here, and they're desperate to get back. No, we're not.
No, we're not, actually. We'd rather be here. We have more listeners here than most radio shows in this town, and that's just how it is.
Anyway, I said about Boyan Bogdanovic.
Yeah.
Succinctly, I'll repeat it. He needs to score 20 points a game for this team to win at a high level. And right now, he doesn't. And why doesn't he? Because he's not somebody who's like, hey, give me the ball.
Yeah, he's too nice.
He's not going to be a guy that's going to wave his arms around and get upset when he doesn't get the ball. And by the way, he is what he is. He can't move left and right. He can go straight ahead. He's got no lateral movement. He can't defend. And what I've said is the same thing I'll repeatedly say. Him and Rudy Gobert are not the foundation of a championship team. And I will just reiterate with Boyan Bogdanovic, my guess is he's the first guy out the door because of the guys you're willing to trade. He's got the most value.
I'm going to say this again.
You should have traded him at the deadline. Does Boyan Bogdanovic suck? No. Nobody on this roster or any NBA roster sucks at basketball.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Boyan Bogdanovic is an older, limited player.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell you. And by the way, now he's always hurt.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got that off my chest.
Yeah, I personally think it's hilarious. I think it's so funny that we're referenced as the podcast. What did you say they said? The podcast hacks?
The podcast hacks. And then the guy went on to run out the mouth about how, listen, look, you're desperate. I understand it. You're trying to be relevant, but you just don't know the Jazz. You don't know the Jazz. And you know how I know, by the way, speaking of the casual shirt, you know how else I know they were talking about us? And the producer guy piped in from the background. Yeah, but they're just casuals. And everybody laughed. Hey, man, fuck them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel.
Listen, you can say that we don't know anything about the Jazz, but there's a reason this show is picking up 30, 40 subs a night. I'm just saying. I mean, there's a reason that the growth is there. There's a reason that we were way ahead on the Rudy contract. There's a reason that we've been telling you for 6 months that Joe Ingles was going to be traded at the deadline, even before he tore the ACL. Like, there's a reason for this stuff. So I personally love it.
I do too.
I think what those guys don't understand, and we'll move on after this, but I think what those guys don't understand is that we want them to talk about us. Keep talking about us. You're making us relevant. We've been relevant, and you're only helping that case. Keep talking about us. Buy our merch. By the way, hey, since we're such casuals, here's a shirt for you. Okay?
That says you're a casual on it.
You can be certified a casual if you buy this shirt. Okay? So I just love it. I think that people just instantly assume that we think that's bad, and it's not bad. I think it's funny. I think it's great.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Anyway, let's get your comments.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Jeremy Bolton says, good morning, everyone. What's the over-under on minutes until the audio goes out today? Don't. Why? That's not funny.
What?
We have a big...
What?
I'm going to guess half the people listening to the show don't even know what that noise means.
That's dial-up internet.
That's death is what that is. That'd be like opening a small business and not advertising. But anyway, the point is... Wow, that happened. The point is, we have a major internet update for you. We'll talk about that. They are mad because you guys are allowed to say the truth and they're not. We simply are unbiased.
This is fucking America.
We don't work for the team. We don't have to say anything. We can say what we want to say. Let's see. Let's get some thoughts in here. Mr. Mongrel says, "Yeah, good morning." You are salty today, Mongrel. I don't know what's up with that.
Okay, but no, why are you salty, bro? Tell us.
Because he wants us to give away the PS5 right now.
Well, listen, you're not going to get it, okay? You're not going to get it until we're at 5,000 subs. It just is what it is, man.
We're picking up like 100 subscribers a week.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, we're picking up like... It's coming, trust me. George Mitchell, what's up, George? Good to see you. Why does Quinn give more minutes to Forrest than Butler? Butler's a better defender than Trent, and I don't think Jared can make passes and layups.
I think that he gets more minutes because...
And I don't think Jared can't make... Okay, you're saying he... Okay.
Trent Forrest gets more minutes because, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, Trent and Don work very closely together. You can see in Trent's game... that he is doing things, and Mike Conley too. You can see that he's learning from those two, and then they want to see him go out and apply that in the game.
And there's relationship built in there. I mean, Trent's been on the team several years now.
I'm not saying that the Jazz are like jaded against Jared Butler, but what I am saying is that Trent Forrest does have a relationship, and clearly they believe in his abilities, and that's fine. Again, I don't think. Let me be clear, since apparently we say everybody sucks. I don't think that Trent Forrest sucks. I definitely don't think, he doesn't have top-end athleticism. It's not like he's some guy that's insanely athletic but needs to be, like, polished and kind of refined. That's not his game. His game is going to be cerebral. He needs to be smart. He needs to make the right decision. He needs to ball handle and protect the ball and get the Jazz into their offense. And I think that's why he's getting more minutes. But I honestly... I don't have an answer, and I'm not really sure there's a clear answer in the organization as to why Jared's not getting even 10 minutes a night. Like, it's not impossible. It is a choice they are making.
It's crazy to me that he's getting no minutes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. James says, this is the third show in a row where you've burped on the air. Did I burp today?
I didn't hear you burp today.
Did I burp yesterday? I don't think I did.
No, I don't think you burped yesterday. I mean, I could be wrong.
Are you a casual? Are you?
I mean, it sounds like it.
I don't think I've
You're
burped.
casual.
I haven't burped 3 days in a row. I mean, I could if you want. No pun intended with the next to last comment, by the way. He said morning, by the way. Okay. Edgar Garcia says, morning, players. What's up, Edgar? Good to see you, Mr. E. Good morning to you. Wade had a great mid-range. I'm sure he's on Don's neck to have this developed in offseason.
See, but I think this is fascinating. I'm glad someone brought up D-Wade. I mean, D-Wade did have a phenomenal mid-range game, but I also think that in this conversation around Donovan's height, I think is very relevant. I think the reason that Devin Booker and DeMar and these guys have such a lethal mid-range is because they have a frame that supports that kind of game. Whereas
Chris
Don,
Paul.
well, here's the thing though. Chris Paul it's taken him how long to be a really good mid-range player? Okay, are you gonna make it over there?
Dude,
Is
I
everything okay?
I almost spilled the roids. That was it's protein. It's a protein. Anyway, I'm fine.
I've never taken steroids.
It's just Ghost Protein, peanut butter,
Never.
cereal milk,
Never.
and some creatine. And stuff.
Lidocaine and B12.
Okay.
Point is I think that Don doesn't embrace the mid-range and playing the way that Chris Paul played, even as a young guy. And I think a lot of people forget who Chris Paul was as a young guy in his prime athletically. I mean, he was a guy who was dunking on people. He was a guy who was extremely athletic. And now he understands he doesn't have that anymore. So now he understands how to get to his spots. I'm not sure that Donovan has spots yet. That's my thing. I don't think that he necessarily has 5 spots on the floor that he just loves. I think he just kind of takes what the defense gives him.
Yep. Scott Howard says, good effing morning. Good morning, Scott.
Why are we all salty? Is it because it's Wednesday?
It's turned. It's only fucking Wednesday.
Is it because it's only Wednesday?
I mean, again, this week has been the longest month of my life. It feels
Y'all
like.
feel me?
Yeah, it feels like it should be Friday.
yeah, and it's
right?
not.
And it's not. Blind Swordsman DS, what's up, my man? Morning, guys. Boy, I hope he can one day win an MVP, Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
I hope it's with the Jazz. It will be. Cody Strickland says, you guys started 10 minutes early. Good morning, men.
Good morning.
I mean,
We're trying to start earlier. We need more time.
Brandon Whiteside says, Ja or Booker? Ja.
Ja.
Ja Morant.
Ja.
No doubt.
Yep.
Ja, he was the second pick. He is playing all out, probably going to get hurt. That's the thing you worry about with Ja, because he plays he's so up in the air
He's
with
a flyer,
his game.
dude. He's a flyer.
You worry about that. And at some point, and I think this, again, relevant to Donovan Mitchell, I love that Donovan's not trying to dunk on people's heads, man, because you wind up twisting an ankle, and he and LeBron are great examples. That's a year to get over that. When you have that kind of ankle sprain, the one where you are on the edge of breaking your leg,
Oh, no, I'm good. Nah.
and really it's referred to as a high ankle sprain, but when you almost break your leg like that, it takes a year to get over that, to recover fully. And
gnarly, bro.
I think you still see Don messing with that ankle, but I agree with you, Brandon. I think Ja's a stud. And Garcia says, morning, Marca. JP Shanahan says, and before anyone corrects me, Iverson, Westbrook, Thomas, I know. What did I miss out of him?
what's going on here? What's going on?
I don't know what I missed out of you, JP, and I'm sorry that I don't know. He said, some have said that Donovan is too undersized to be a legit big-time player. Don't know if I necessarily agree with the statement, but that's what they're saying. I don't agree with the size thing.
Well, here's
I
the
know
thing,
that
though.
you're a guy who has you have a how do I say this? Like, you're really sensitive when people talk about small limbs.
Sorry if you're offended by that.
I mean, look, Stubby, I get it. But my point... That was a small penis joke.
Right.
Winker and weenie.
Right.
Anyway, the point is, as I was saying,
Can you measure it?
that Donovan Mitchell he's not tall. He's not Jordan. He's not LeBron. He's not Booker. He's not Kobe. But he doesn't need to be. He needs to be. I think you're going to see when he takes the next step, I truly believe he's the next guy to average 30 points a game. And that is rarefied air in this league. He has the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Because the 3-ball goes down and he shoots enough of them. And now he's just got to find his comfort zone inside the arc. And once he does that, and I think he's a guy who can average a double-double. I think he can absolutely average 10 dimes. He has multiple open guys every time he drives. Every single time. because he's all you got to worry about offensively with the Jazz right now.
Yes.
So I don't think the height thing's an issue. I really don't. And again, I know we disagree on that, which is fine. Rudy Sanchez says, "Morning, fellas. If they're worried about turnovers, maybe send Clarkson to the G League too. Then, wow, that's smoke."
Ouch.
John Jackson, I don't even feel that the Jazz fans have a problem with Butler. We want to see him play more. It's got to be the front office issue. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I keep listening to you guys pushing the narrative that the Jazz need to play the young guys. Who besides Butler? And he said this in capital letters. So,
Yeah. Can you?
who besides Butler do the Jazz have to start playing that you consider a young guy player?
That was actually really good. That was really well done.
Well, when you're talking capital letters, that's what it sounds like.
This is fucking America.
I also wonder, oh my God, the guy from Golden State, Don's friend.
Pascal.
Yeah. Why doesn't Pascal get more minutes? He's been terrible when he's been in, right? No. He doesn't rebound. Yeah, he does. He doesn't defend. Yes, he does. He's not physical enough. Yeah, he is.
He doesn't shoot well.
Yeah, he does. Somebody explain to me why Eric Pascal doesn't get more minutes. That's a young guy that I'd like to see play more.
Well, I wouldn't call him a young guy. I would say that he's not a young guy.
I'm going to slap you in the bag on this.
Okay, cool. He's not a rookie, dude. He's not a second year player.
No, he's not a second year player.
Like he's not a young guy. He's
25 years old.
Yeah, he's in his prime physically. Like
You want to?
I don't want
his prime physically. Is there something we need to know? Like,
okay, yeah. He's not a young guy. He shouldn't be referred to as that. He's not. He's a veteran. Like he's been in the league long enough.
Quick right there.
Yeah, because it's not. He's not a young guy,
it's
dude.
His third year in the league.
Yeah,
he's
not a young guy.
Okay, whatever. A younger guy.
Sure.
A youngish guy.
He's not Jared Butler. He's not a rookie. He is a guy that you brought on this roster for toughness and bench scoring. Basically,
it's Jared Butler, Eric Pascal, and really Trent Forrest. Those are the guys. Like, I'm not a dope guy at all. I don't believe he's an NBA regular.
Yeah.
I think he's a bench player. I think he's your 10th, 11th guy. He's just not athletic enough until he changes his body and until he's not like a plotter or a methodical runner or a methodical athlete. I just think he is what he is. It is Pascal, Forrest, and Butler. And really, it's Butler.
It's not a narrative to say that they should be playing these guys. Like, again, and that's the thing that I love out of this fan base, the sentiment that, well, you guys just say that they got to play all the young guys. It's like, no, dude, you need to develop the talent that you draft. We've seen this example a million times in the league with the Warriors and many other examples. You know, the best organizations develop their young talent, and that needs to happen. And the idea that you have local media saying that this organization is developing young talent at a high level is lunacy, dude. They're not. When
Holly Rowe has said that multiple times,
and they don't, dude.
And like, give me the example of the guy that they've developed, because it ain't Rudy Gobert. Everybody wants to point to Rudy's defense. Okay, cool. I don't call that development. Rudy Gobert is a 7-footer with long ass arms and a guy that's a willing defender. Okay, maybe I'm being too harsh there. He is absolutely limited offensively. Who is the last guy that you drafted, developed, and turned into a superstar? It's Donovan Mitchell. And with all due respect to the Jazz, are the Jazz developing Donovan Mitchell? Sure they are. But if you look at what Donovan does in the offseason, Donovan Mitchell is working with Chris Brickley.
He gets his gains with Brickley.
And he does. Like, this 3-point range that Donovan Mitchell's added, that's all Chris Brickley's work. And that has to continue into the season. But I think the thing that a lot of fans don't understand is there's not a lot of practice time. After this 2 days off, I don't believe the Jazz have another 2-game off stretch, like 2-day off stretch, until the end of the season. I mean, I think there's one more.
Yeah.
Like, they play every other day. That Sunday, Monday back-to-back that's coming up, like, where are you going to practice?
Yeah.
When are you going to practice? Because when you're playing back-to-backs and when you're playing that kind of load, you just don't have time to practice.
Yeah.
You know, so, all right, let's get more comments in here because I want to make sure we stay on the clock today. George Mitchell says, don't forget Alexander Walker. He can shoot the three and help defense. He's just not playing.
Yeah.
Which
I guess we shouldn't be surprised by, honestly.
Yeah, Alexander Walker's a great pull. You're exactly right. Darren Sproles is on the show again. Hi,
To
Dallin.
what do I owe this pleasure?
Eric Paschal is definitely a young guy, not a veteran until at least your rookie contract is over, in my opinion. So 4 years in, and this is his third year. He's 25. I know what you're saying. He's not a 20-year-old rookie that you're,
you would expect him to come in and make good decisions. You would that's the thing with Jared Butler. Like, he's not yet seasoned enough to make the right decision every time. Like the game isn't too fast for Eric Paschal. I think my point just is okay, maybe he's not a 8-year veteran, but what I am saying is he's definitely not a rookie new guy in the league. Like,
Totally
this is
agree.
a guy who has played around really good players in Golden State, clearly understands how to play good basketball, clearly understands spacing, understands his
is
role.
only here because he's childhood friends with Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, like, he gets it. He
I mean,
understands.
you got to give him minutes. And somebody just said it. I think Garcia said, development is on-the-job training. Yeah, in this league, when you don't practice much, it's on-the-job training, which means you got to play the guy.
Yeah.
And Kay Nuren's exactly right. Good morning, Kay. Butler needs to play or the draft pick is wasted. That goes for others, too.
Yeah.
And that's what the history of this organization has been. And it's incredibly frustrating. Monir Aboraya says, keep going, guys. You are special in your own casual way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monir.
That's really,
You're casual.
Yeah,
You're
thank
casual.
you.
All right.